Black, turn me up. Yo, AB, you stacking up. Fuck they mean, I got stripes like Adidas. In the streets pulling stunts like a Neva. Full speed to that root of all evil. Good nigga, but the streets turned us evil. Hey, I got stripes like Adidas. In the streets pulling stunts like a Neva. Full speed to that root of all evil. Good nigga, but the streets turned us evil. Get the green, goes to sing, man, I got this. In the streets pulling stunts for that fortune. Scorch the beat when I spit, man, I tore shit. You don't wanna feel the pain that I record with. Yeah, we did it on our own, no endorsements. Shit get hard, we don't stop, we don't forfeit. But these streets made a nigga so heartless. Shit dark, but my light shine regardless. Yeah. And you can keep the nonsense. Survive for a living, rap something I have fun with. You can have the fame, I'm so way beyond it. Don't know who to trust, so I can't go unless the gun fit. Even then, you still better watch who you run with. They see you with potential, try to put you on dumb shit. Won't strike like a zebra, but regrets is what it come with. Lost blood, sweat, tears, and a whole bunch of dumb shit. Fuck they mean, I got stripes like Adidas. In the streets pulling stunts like a Neva. Full speed to that root of all evil. Good nigga, but the streets turned us evil. Hey, I got stripes like Adidas. In the streets pulling stunts like a Neva. Full speed to that root of all evil. Good nigga, but the streets turned us evil. Pulling schemes like Madoff, stunts like Knievel. Married to the streets, no prenup, I can't leave her. Taking off, try to keep up and I speed up. Squad made of bosses, we ain't need no one to lead us. We tried it, but deeper in the slums where that led us. Don't let them see you hurt, you gotta keep your head up. Gotta keep my head up, yeah. Found knowledge on my own, cause ain't nobody show me better. I'm just thinking logically, that's knowledge over cheddar. Don't move by their rules, so they label me the devil. They hate to see my people with intelligence and cleverness. Don't feed me with your doctrine, don't play with my intelligence. Dropping knowledge on my people, won't deceive them like the priest. I'm a good nigga, but inside it's a beast. Trying to chase that root of evil, made a monster out of me. When you see me in the streets, they be the monster that you see. But they mean, I got stripes like Adidas. In the streets pulling stunts like a Neva. Full speed to that root of all evil. Good nigga, but the streets turned us evil. Hey, I got stripes like Adidas. In the streets pulling stunts like a Neva. Full speed to that root of all evil. Good nigga, but the streets turned us evil.
Should I believe you or my lying eyes? All these conspiracy theories have gone wild. He's never set foot on the campus before. Okay, I guess all the cameras are lying. There is a theory that all the texts were actually written by the FBI. What?
No, we have not seen an autopsy report, and that has fueled further speculation.
We are bombarded by these insane theories that the FBI secretly wrote all the texts from Robinson. They won't even leave his widow alone. This is fodder for the defense. It's complete fodder. They don't even have to come up with a trial strategy. Another conspiracy theory, and let's take a look at the source of some of the conspiracy theories.
Any person with a modicum of intelligence is going to go, I'm not going to put this down in writing with every detail. And apparently whoever offered those messages, likely feds, didn't have a modicum of intelligence. The family says that the photo of the young man that is coming up the stairs, which was shared, that blurry image, is definitively not Tyler Robinson. When I put together what I'm being told by Lance's family and what I'm hearing from the Robinson family through a third party, I will say that it matches. It kind of seems like they're agreeing. One family's going, hey, Lance is kind of evil. Why is he getting cleared? The other one's going, Tyler's not this guy.
Okay, I really don't know where to start with that big, steaming, stinky crock of BS I just heard. That is from Candace Owens. Let's just break it down very quickly, and then maybe we can actually get to the facts, the real facts, the hard evidence about what is happening now. First of all, any person with a modicum of intelligence is going to go, I'm not going to put this all down in writing, every detail. And whoever authored those messages, like the feds, don't have a modicum of intelligence. Okay, I was a Fed for 3 years before I became a felony prosecutor. in Superior Court. So as a former Fed, I don't appreciate that very much. But that said, I'm very, very curious. Straight back out to Sky Lazaro joining us, veteran trial lawyer in both the state and federal criminal systems. That is a really long stretch to claim, hey, the defendant would never put so many details in his text. BS, yes, they would, because they're not that smart, Sky. Why do you think the federal and the state jails are so full? Because they're idiots.
I wish none of my clients ever wrote anything down, but that is not the reality.
No, it's not. And also, let's talk about this. To Tracy Brown joining us. You guys know Tracy very well, body language expert and author of How to Detect Lies, Fraud, and Identity Theft. She's bodylanguagetrainer.com. Tracy, please, when you think that you are texting with your romantic partner, you say a lot more than you would say to other people, right?
I think you do, because there's a very deep trust.
Girl, I hate people that talk like this. Like, that's, I don't know, it's weird, but let's listen to her though. Let's see what they got to say, man. This lady gonna break it down. She looked crazy as hell. Have somebody ever analyzed her motherfucking ass? God damn. Something ain't right. That eyeball to the left of my screen now is looking a little strange. She must be reading 2-3 different computer screens. Now let me stop. Hold on, let's get back into it. I'm childish. Let me stop.
I think you do, because there's a very deep trust there, I would say. One of the things that concerned me when I saw this was the perfect punctuation and capitalization, and it didn't seem age appropriate to me. So either he's so smart that he's not tuned into his generation, or something else has taken over. It's very odd.
Put her up. Just so you know, Tracy, both of my twins text nonstop to me, and their punctuation is always perfect.
Do they really? Oh,
so,
wow. Okay. All
yes,
right.
really. Yeah. So reality check. Another thing too, Allison Paganelli joining us, forensic.
That's why I don't even like talking to cross-eyed people. I can't even pay attention, man. I swear to God. Like, I'm not grown enough yet. Like, I still got some maturing to do. I can't even pay a fucking attention, man. Like, put some shades on or something, man. Damn, you knew your motherfucking eyeball was like that when you got on this fucking screen. Seriously. Like, damn, you know, people like me can't take this shit. I'm childish.
Punctuation is always perfect.
Do they really? Oh,
so,
wow. Okay. All
yes,
right.
really. Yeah. So reality check. Another thing too, Allison Paganelli joining us, forensic psychologist, esteemed forensic psychologist, joining us out of the Atlanta jurisdiction. Allison Paganelli, thank you for being with us. Allison, when you are writing someone that you trust and that you love, that you're romantic with, very often you lower your guard and you say things you wouldn't normally say to anybody else. Isn't that true?
Yes.
I like that. Short and sweet. Yes. Another thing regarding this conspiracy theory that the FBI really wrote the text and not the defendant, the FBI would have to be clairvoyant in some way to know all the details about Grandpa's long gun and how he was trying to go back and retrieve it, and so much more contained in those texts from Tyler Robinson to his roommate.
Yes, they would be overly involved. If this were the conspiracy that Candace Owens says it is, then that would mean that the FBI was, tracking Mr. Robinson.
Now we got Nancy Grace taking shots at Candace Owens all over the Charlie Kirks death. This is wild. They're beefing in real time, family. I don't know if y'all see this shit. This is crazy.
Then knew of weapons that he had.
Allison, hold on just a moment. Tracking Mr. Robinson, more like setting him up, because if the FBI is responsible, then they would have been responsible for the shooting and for setting it up and for framing him. I mean, this goes a lot deeper than faking a few texts. So you would have to believe that the FBI was in on this from the get-go. Do you really believe that? Because I find it to be a fantastical farce.
Do I believe that that's what happened? No, I don't. To me, it would be far-fetched for the FBI to pick Tyler Robinson out of many, many males and females who are online talking about various political things, he's a 20-year-old, allegedly really intelligent. He got the scholarship. It would seem to me, yeah, like I said, pretty far-fetched for them to just pick him out and decide we're going to frame this guy and we're going to send all these texts with all the details. It's just, it would have had to have been pre-planned for a long period of time. And I just don't think that's a plausible theory.
Okay. Let's go straight to Tracy Brown, joining us, body language expert and author of How to Detect Lies. Tracy, I'm just looking at his body language and his demeanor with the LE law enforcement. What do you make of it, if anything?
I watched the whole video, the whole hour-long footage, and here's what's different between him and everyone else there. Because you got to ask yourself, what do you see?
We're gonna let her break this shit down, though. All right. So listen, shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. This is crazy, man. We're gonna finish playing the rest of these clips. We got a lot more clips to get into, man. Make sure y'all thumb up the video and support the channel. Thumb up the video. We got 54 people listening in on both cross platforms. So for those that's listening in on YouTube, run up them likes, though. Run up them likes. Y'all shiesty. I know y'all can't write in, smooth transition, all that. But don't forget to hit the like button, though. That's going to push us in the algorithm. That's going to get it cracking. Share the live stream, all that good stuff. Shout out to everybody listening in on Twitter, too. Shout out to everybody listening in on Twitter. Let's lock in.
And what's missing? And what's missing is two things. One, nervousness. So he may not have a response to trauma. And that can indicate like that can lead someone to think that, you know, what he allegedly did was okay. Everyone else, his brother, his mom, the guy in the car that he hit, showed signs of anxiety, fidgeting, wiping or touching your face, touching your neck, playing with your hair. He doesn't show anything. He keeps his hands in his pockets, actually puts his thumbs in his pockets, which is framing his manhood there. And it's different than everyone else.
Put her up, please. Tracy Brown, what do you mean by putting his thumbs in his pockets is, quote, framing his manhood? I feel like I'm reading a 1969 romance novel, Framing His Manhood. Who said that?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be kind. I'm trying to be kind. It's the same moves that I've seen when I've done reads on Justin Bieber. It's showing how powerful he is. And it's aloof.
You mean by pointing
to cross-eyed ass.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Like those guys that are always grabbing themselves. I didn't know that meant anything. Yep. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a power play is what it is. And so he's different.
I just thought it was awkward.
Well, okay. So let's put him in the situation. Standing on the corner when your car's sitting in front of you wrecked and the police have showed up and you don't know how you're getting a ride home is awkward. So we got to give him that. He doesn't show the same level of effect that everyone else involved does. And he also shows a bit of a lack of awareness of the situation and what really happened. That last part is a little more understandable, but this shows, I think it indicates how he is with law enforcement and concerned for those around him and effect at a very, very intense situation.
Like, you got to ask yourself, why is Nancy Grace always on the opposite side of the conversation? And what is her gripe with Candace Owens? It seems like she's got a hard on for Candace Owens, and I don't know where exactly that is stimulating from, but maybe we can get into a little bit of that right now. Shout out to everybody that's need everybody to thumb up the video and support the channel right quick. Thumb up the video and support the channel. I need everybody to thumb up the video and support the channel. Shout out to everybody. Let's get into new clips. Y'all ready to rock the house down and get into it? Drop a fire emoji.
Keys on the track, on the track, on the track, on the track, on the track. For the stats, I be beating the odds. In the blood, it be making me calm. Ride the turbines just like I'm Saddam. I'ma blow it just like I'm a bomb. I'ma leave it.
The Charlie Kirk shooting suspect court appearance yesterday. He did not show his face. This, as we hear his roommate, his romantic partner, apparently laying low even in a safe house. You know, Charlie Kirk didn't have that opportunity, did he? This as the suspect's family also laying low. But tonight we are learning some family members insisting, what? He's never set foot on the campus before. Okay, I guess all the cameras are lying. So what does that mean? It's not him we see on the video. So much.
Hey, let me ask the chat right quick. We got 56 people listening in on YouTube. Can y'all hear me loud and clear? And is the audio good, you guys? Can y'all hear me loud and clear? And is the audio good? Drop a fire emoji if so. Once you drop that fire emoji, go ahead and hit that like button, family. We're looking a little shiesty on the likes.
Happening straight out to Sydney Sumner, Crime Stories investigative reporter. How are certain family members claiming that he, the suspect, never has been on that campus? How is that happening? Am I supposed to ignore what he said in the text to his romantic partner roommate?
According to Candace Owens, you are supposed to ignore those texts because they were authored by FBI agents and not Tyler Robinson to Lance.
Okay, but stop. I'm sorry. My earpiece must not be working correctly because I thought for sure, Sydney Sumner, I heard you say that there is a theory that all the texts that the alleged shooter sent his romantic partner roommate were actually written by the FBI. Did you say that?
I didn't. Candace Owens did on her stream yesterday afternoon. So
Candace Owens said it on her screen. They got a hard on for Candace.
That all the texts that the alleged shooter sent his romantic partner roommate were actually written by the FBI. Did you say that?
I didn't. Candace Owens did on her stream yesterday afternoon. So she took the step further. We've already heard rumors that Gen Zers are saying, I've never heard a 22-year-old talk like that over text message. This is really weird. And she came out and made that accusation yesterday that these text messages are part of an FBI cover-up, and an FBI agent without a modicum of intelligence wrote those text messages.
Okay, so the FBI agent was in on the whole thing, that it was the grandpa's long gun and the alleged shooter couldn't retrieve it and was caught on cam at a Dairy Queen waiting to go back into the trees and bushes to get his gun. So the FBI agent that this conservative influencer is talking about, what is a clairvoyant? He was in on the whole thing, or what? Did he plant the gun too? This from Candace Owens. Sydney, help me out. What is she claiming?
Well, Nancy, so Owens is claiming that these text messages include every single detail that police had tracking Tyler Robinson up until the point that he was arrested. So we're hearing reports now from law enforcement sources that Robinson actually had a run-in with police near UVU campus the evening after the shooting, and they believe he was trying to make a move to retrieve that rifle. Now, law enforcement already had the rifle in their possession. They already knew what model it was. They already knew that it had a big $2,000 scope on it. So Owens is pointing out that these text messages include every single detail of the planning of the shooting, of the rifle that was used in the shooting, and that feels a little bit suspicious. She finds that odd that this 34
stop right
would
there.
do that.
So now here we go. The floodgates are open. I haven't even gotten to the hearing that went down yesterday and what, if anything, it means to the defense and the state. We are bombarded by these insane theories that the FBI secretly wrote all the texts from Robinson, the alleged shooter, to his roommate, his romantic partner, Lance Twiggs. Okay, Sky Lazaro joining me, state and federal criminal defense attorney with Ray, Quinney, and Niebecker. Sky, just take off your defense hat one moment, if that's possible.
I can do it.
This is fodder for the defense. It's complete fodder. Now, any defense attorney in their right mind would likely not claim that the texts were sent by the FBI because there's just too much knowledge in those texts that nobody else would know all those details other than the sender. But that said, this is muddying the water for the state. All these conspiracy theories have gone wild, and basically the defense can sit back and pick and choose which crazy, zany conspiracy theory they're going to present to the jury. They don't even have to come up with a trial strategy. The online sleuths are doing it for them.
I couldn't agree more. In this case, this is the best thing that can happen, because if you got a jury pool is fighting with each other about conspiracy theories or this happened or this didn't happen. I mean, that's the best thing that can happen to you.
Flip her up. I want to actually see her face. Sky Lazaro has won a lot of cases, but I want to see her face. Did you just say, with apparently a straight face, that the defense could blame the government for Charlie Kirk's assassination?
Sky Lazaro is a public defender, right? She's a public defender. She's not a paid attorney, but she does have a good track record of winning a lot of her cases. And to be quite frank, public defenders actually put in more work than actual paid lawyers, because most public defenders are coming fresh out of law school. They're trying to make a name for themselves in hopes that they can open up their own law firm. It's hard to do that when you're not winning cases. So they put a lot of work in and a lot of strategizing angles into winning these cases. So public defenders aren't a bad look, just to let you know.
No.
This is a rogue FBI
This lady is crazy. She looks like a witch. I don't know what's going on up there.
agent really did it.
No defense attorney is going to do that. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in this case. What my point was is, when you have a jury pool who's out there, who's getting all of this information and hearing this from different platforms, and I think, Candace Owens had millions of viewers yesterday, people believe that stuff. And if you have a jury pool that is divided on whether or not the government had a hand in this or covered it up or something else, I mean, that's grounds for jury nullification somewhere along the way.
Chris McDonough, help me. Look, I know that some of these wild claims, which we're about to hear, are zany, but when I'm sitting in the prosecutor's chair and I've got Charlie Kirk's widow sitting behind me, waiting for me to somehow wave a magic wand and make it all turn out right, and you're confronted with theories like what's being thrown out right now, polluting the jury pool, it's overwhelming. Yes, I'm angry. I am angry at all the make-believe and pretend theories that are out there as to who assassinated Charlie Kirk in cold blood. Now a rogue FBI agent did it. You can't laugh it off, Chris, as tempting as it is. McDonough is a former homicide investigator. He worked Vice. He's worked every angle for the state. He's now the star of the Interview Room on YouTube, director of the Cold Case Foundation. Chris, this is not a joke. This is real. You get one nut jar. Look at O.J. Simpson. Really? People really believe the police can hold it together and create a conspiracy? It's total BS. Same thing here.
Yeah, absolutely, Nancy. I mean, and you know more than anybody being in that courtroom to hear craziness like this. I mean, this is just irresponsible right now. I mean, the fact that you have this allegation that, some other dude, i.e. law enforcement, the government, whoever, had set this kid up and it's, some gigantic conspiracy, et cetera.
Set him up? What kid are you talking about?
Well,
what kid
Tyler
are we
Robinson,
talking about? Is there somehow a middle school shooter? I mean, I don't know. What kid are you talking about?
Well, we're talking about Tyler Robinson, right? I mean, and by the way, I interviewed the undersheriff.
He is no kid.
Well, I agree with you, but, he's also not the smartest tool in the shed, even though he has an IQ that's extremely high. The fact that he's left all the evidence behind him and in front of him, by the way, I think this is part of a play somewhere from somebody.
Wait,
the fact that
the conspiracy theories are going to make a lot of hay out of what you said just then about leaving evidence out. They're going to claim it was.
Well, if she think that's something, it's going to get even crazier. It's going to get even crazier when y'all actually see what's going on now, what Candace Owens actually has to say now. We're going to get back to some of this here in just a second, but I need y'all to just slow down and take your time with me. We're going to get into what Candace Owens recently said in her new dialogue. She dropped some crazy information in this new conversation that we just seen. When I say it was crazy, absolutely insane. All right, so we're going to get into some of that right now. I do need everybody to hit that like button with the video and support the channel. All right. I do need everybody to hit that like button thumb up the video and support the channel, family. All right, let's get into some of this crazy ass conversation that we got lined up for you guys. This is about to get wild. So I need y'all to buckle up. The video, support the channel, and let's get into the meat and potatoes of this whole. Let's get into it. Let's
For the stats, I be beating the odds. In the blood, it be making me calm. Ride the turbines just like I'm Saddam. I'ma blow it just like I'm a bomb. I'ma leave it.
Right at the top here, because sometimes we get a ton of emails about one subject that we've already researched. And that is the case regarding, first and foremost, you're seeing a lot of this chatter going around about the renting of the State Farm Stadium for Charlie Kirks Memorial Service. I think there were 90,000 people that attended and then spilled over. And many people online have speculated, accurately, by the way, so some credit to you guys, that in order to book a venue of that size, you would have had to done so in advance. Right? Venue contracts do not just materialize out of nowhere for a space that holds that many people plus spillover. Now, given my many sources at Turning Point USA, I was able to quickly get an answer on that one for the public. The venue was indeed secured in quick order, but that was because they had help from the White House, and Turning Point did not book that venue back in May, so we can formally debunk that. I was told that the White House stepped in and put in a personal phone call to the event coordinator, and they...
Hey, man, y'all come through, smack that like button, man. I do need y'all to thumb up the video, man. Go ahead and hit that like button. Support the channel, too, man. Cash out information is in the chat, man. No, it ain't. That ain't that cash out information. But let me put the correct cash out information in the chat, though. But just disregard that. But, hey, cash out information is in the chat. Make sure you support the channel. Let's listen to what my sister got to say. Well, this cool ass lady. Because I'm not really a fan of Candace Owens. We're going to see what she got to say. Let's go.
Well, he was running a campaign and he has a website, and maybe people were writing in reviews and saying he was a great person. But yes, we were aware that George Zinn is one of just 20 people that is a featured endorsement. He endorses Phil Lyman's character. You can see that here. George Zinn writes, "Rare to find a more caring man with uncompromising goals to make Utah great for generations than Phil Lyman. Not a politician who can be pampered. Phil has a knowledge of urban and rural Utah from every corner and community. Utah is in desperate need of true leadership and representation, and Phil has the passion and the values to be a great governor. He needs our support." Now, not sure what to make of that. I did want to use Wayback Machine to see whether or not that was a new entry. Maybe somebody is trolling there. And no, they are not. That entry has been there at least since, I'm going to show you this on Wayback, at least since June 6th, 2024. So I don't know what to make of that. Now, I will say other locals told us that George Zinn, for whatever reason, is very involved in Republican politics. Take from that what you will, meaning that he shows up to a lot of events. But of course, Phil Lyman's people would have been controlling that website, certainly should have been aware of his erratic character, and maybe wouldn't want to have featured him on that website. I don't know. It's definitely something to consider. Some other things that are of interest. Okay, yesterday we mentioned that apparently it was kind of everybody's first day on the job, right? 9/10 was everybody's first day on the job, meaning that there were a lot of these recent and brand new hires in Utah that would all kind of come across and have to deal with this case. Kash Patel, I told you, cleaned house at the state borough. He then installs a person that has a long tenure in DC, Robert Bowles. His first case is Charlie Kirk's assassination. Why would he want to uproot and move his family to Utah after having roots in Virginia for so long? I don't know, but that's the circumstance. Also, I told you there was a new CEO and therefore a new lead surgeon, Andrew Zenger, over at the hospital, the regional hospital that Charlie was taken to, although that was not the nearest hospital from the university. And it also ranked extremely low in terms of the most best equipped hospital, if you will, to deal with the sort of trauma that Charlie was suffering from, a neck wound, obviously. So it's very strange. I think it would be interesting to learn whether or not that new CEO and surgeon worked on Charlie. That's something that I would like to find out. If you know that information, please send it to us at tips@CandaceOwens.com. Okay. That's not it, though. There were also some other new people, and I forgot to mention the judge that is in the case, that is overseeing the case against Tyler Robinson, is Judge Tony F. Graff Jr. He was recently appointed to the 4th District Court in May of 2025 by Governor Spencer Cox. I was also informed that the coroner in this case was also brand spanking new. That name has not yet been released. I am told that person is new. Okay. And I have also learned, I've been told that Charlie did indeed have an autopsy. I wanted to let you guys know that because I saw a lot of rumors that were circulating that he did not have an autopsy. That has been confirmed. An autopsy did take place. By the way, you should know that in the state of Utah, in case you, like me, are maybe holding your breath that we're going to see that report, those reports are actually kept private. So there isn't going to be some big release outside of what maybe the immediate family members wishing for that and saying, I feel like something's wrong and I would now like to release the autopsy report. That's the only way that we are going to be able to see it. That's at least what I've learned. Now let's jump back into what actually took place on that day, because I'm starting to get a bit of a stronger hunch about things. We'll jump back in here regarding Shaner Broderick, who is, according to Phil Lyman, a cousin who he refers to Phil as his uncle across interviews. Doesn't matter. They're family members is the main point, and they know each other. And Shaner Broderick has, of course, mysteriously deleted all of his socials except for Instagram, but he's wiped his Instagram. Okay. Just deleted his Facebook and just outright deleted his LinkedIn page because I asked him a question before we even went live. That was his response. Okay. Now, he did this not before I grabbed everything that I needed from his pages. I just had a suspicion that he might not be willing to participate. And I was operating under the assumption that he might just privatize his socials. So I instructed my team to grab everything before I even made contact. Now, what I did not anticipate was that he would delete the content. Okay. Why would he delete the content? That part never wasn't tracking for me. It didn't make sense to me. Now it sort of maybe does make a lot of sense to me. So you will recall that we had received a lead live on the show. Someone paid money to inform us that there was footage that the FBI was hiding, right? She wrote in, said, I have been trying to reach out to you everywhere. The FBI is hiding footage. The doorbell cam footage had more. This is what the person told us. She said, the shooter is then seen changing his clothes and he is with a woman. She told me. And then she gives me a name, and that name was another Lyman family member. And that's when my spidey senses started tingling. I'm like, okay, this is a lot of Lymans. Now, I want to be very clear and fair to Phil Lyman. He has been forthcoming about the fact that his family owned that property. Like, they own everything there. That is not mysterious. He's not hiding that fact. UVU, in many ways, purchased the university from his family, right? That the acreage from his family for that university. But I did feel that if that is the case, obviously, then Phil Lyman.
So now they're saying that it's a female accomplice that was with Charlie Kirk. And I heard that earlier. I dropped that video probably like 7-8 days ago where detailed footage of doorbell camera showed him walking up with a female or what looks to be a female. I don't know why that footage haven't been dropped. I don't even know why that conversation haven't even been amplified. These are the questions we got to ask. Yeah, this is way bigger than Kirk. Big bro Yos. We're gonna have to get Big bro Yos up in here.
Would in theory be able to access that footage, right? Be able to speak to his family members. And yeah, I didn't want to come out and say that it was a fact that there was a woman with the shooter without any proof. We had no proof outside of this person, and what she was saying felt real to me definitively, but I needed something more solid. Well, we came across something more solid. We reviewed the footage that Shaner Broderick, of course, we downloaded everything, but hadn't actually reviewed it, had wiped from the internet. And yeah, the proof is in the pudding, and I'm going to let you hear. Now, to set this up, you will recall that Shaner and his close friends that nobody knows, apparently, they were retracing the footsteps of the killer. They were at his grandma's house, he said, and he's speaking on camera with his aunt to set this footage up for you. And sure enough, you're going to hear right in the beginning, his aunt is going to mention that there was a woman who was helping the shooter, and she's not sure whether or not that person was an accomplice. I would say if you're helping the shooter, you were an accomplice, but somehow we all missed this in this actual clip that Shaner had posted and has since been wiped from the internet. Take a listen.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
So you see, she's talking about the shooter, and she says, I was wondering if the girl had given him stuff. And then somebody off camera says, you know, you're filming. And she says, I'm sorry that you're filming, but it's very clear. There's no question at all. In fact, leading into that, which we should have maybe cut that a little bit earlier, they're speaking about how she thought the FBI had it wrong. The timing didn't make sense to her. And that's what she's starting with. I don't, you know, the timing doesn't make sense to me because I thought that it took a little longer for him to walk. Let's play that again, Skylar, just so they can hear it again. She says that there's a girl. Take a listen.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
So just to be clear, those subtitles are wrong. It's just that's AI. She's saying, I wondered if there is an accomplice. Okay. I wondered if there is an accomplice, which we should edit that, Chris, when we re-release that. And then somebody says something, and she's like, sorry, I didn't realize you were filming. Okay. So we have the woman who was my source who said that the FBI cut the footage and she was certain of it. And now we have actually the woman who handed over her footage to the FBI saying, I wondered if that woman was an accomplice. Ladies and gentlemen, what the heck is going on? Who was the woman that was with the alleged shooter? Why wouldn't the FBI immediately release that? Now, again, you should recall that the very next morning on September the 11th, TMZ already had the doorbell cam footage, okay? So that means that the FBI already had the footage, right? They would have seen that there was a woman with the shooter, and yet they chose during this manhunt, during this 33-hour manhunt, not to inform the public that they were also looking for a woman who this lady believes, she wondered whether or not she would have been an accomplice, if that was his accomplice. What happened to this lady? Who is the girl, the woman that was in this footage, guys? I don't know. What are your ideas here? Why would the FBI not tell us something so evidently crucial to this story that we have a woman that's involved? What does she look like? How old is she? I obviously did the sensible thing, right? I reached out to Phil Lyman because it's his family, and I asked him whether or not he would be willing to track down this footage for me. And he's not happy with me. He's angry. I mean, he said really not nice things to me. He started asking me if I had something to do with the shooting. Okay. And I basically just stayed focused and said, Phil, okay, we showed your footage. He's very upset about cousin versus nephew thing. I said, it's all irrelevant. If you're saying you actually want to help us catch the killer, right? If that's really where your heart was, if that's really why you injected yourself so much into this story, why wouldn't you, knowing how deeply I care about this, walk over while you're in the neighborhood popping by, walk over to your aunt, grandma, cousins, I don't care whose house, and say, hey, you said there was an accomplice, that there was a woman, okay, that might have been an accomplice. Do you mind letting me see the raw footage so that I can hand it over to Candace? In fact, how about just giving me any of the footage that your family rushed to give it to TMZ? Why did they rush to give it to TMZ? By the way, you definitely you said you were at your cousin's house and that you hadn't seen the footage. You were watching it live with Kayleigh McEnany on Fox News. That's what you said during that segment, right? This is the first time I'm seeing this footage. So apparently your cousin, close enough to go to their house, but your cousin decides to give the footage to TMZ before you can even see it. Okay, maybe the feds gave it. That's another assumption. That's the only two options. Either your cousin gave it to TMZ or the feds gave a portion of it to TMZ, which begs the question, why were we not told about the woman? Who was the woman? We should now all be putting a lot of pressure on the FBI to make a statement about why the woman who handed over her footage, I've now twice confirmed in her own mouth and from a source that there was a lady in that footage with the shooter. So why are they worried about that being caught on camera? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were filming. What's that about? It's like everybody knows something that I don't know. And I want to be in the know on what happened to Charlie Kirk on 9/10. So if you have any tips pertaining to who the woman was that was caught, please let me know. I am going to try again to reach out to this family since I don't think that Phil Lyman wants to assist me, doesn't like me. That's fine. I wonder if he likes truth, if he likes trying to solve this thing. That would be great as well. If he doesn't want to talk to me, I'm happy to put him in touch with another journalist. But if you know something more and you'd like to reach out to us.
She's asking for more details. So let's get into this damn female accomplice allegedly.
Back to the mysterious individual that is next to Shaner, right? We discovered that one person was from Austria. And then we're going, who's this goth kid that Phil has been clear he does not know him. Phil Lemon does not know this individual. Could not help identify him. I told you it was unusual that our inbox wasn't instantly flooded with people telling us exactly who it was. Well, then we did get another hit on him. And a handful of you similarly found the same person that we did, a person going by the name Robbie Hild, who was allegedly from Washington. Now, let me tell you why I don't think this is his true identity, okay? Because if this was just some kid who grew up in Washington, went to school in Utah, my inbox would be flooded with that name, and it's not, okay? It's simply not. Oddly, no one has come forward to claim that they know Robbie Hild. They're all just saying, I got a hit. This might be him. No one is saying they went to school with him. This is a young college student. He's allegedly, like I said, from Washington State. And no one personally can say, I know this person. How could that be? How could that be? I'm going to tell you something. So I'm starting to get a hunch about things, and we're going to go more deeply into this tomorrow. But many of you guys have been sending those clues about the Azov battalion, about Ukrainian, Russian people that were coming into Utah. There seems to be some organized movement, people that are being given new identities. Actually, one person wrote us and told us that UVU in and of itself as a campus has an unbelievable amount of dedication. I mean, even the president, I'm blanking on her name, it like majored in Soviet studies. Like they have a direct pipeline from Russia to America. It's very interesting. And yes, it is true. It is a fact that Tyler Robinson, we can't confirm that this is Mike Mitchell, but there are old photos of Tyler Robinson when he's a lot younger, visiting his uncle Mikey. Okay. His uncle Mikey, who is working with the Ukrainian Azov battalion. Okay. He's a military man. And that gets really interesting when I start to combine all of the aspects of this case. And again, we are still in theory territory, but I feel like we are I'm starting to get stronger than a theory and more of a hunch that this was a military operation, and people that executed this are actually from overseas. And when you look at the aspects of the UVU case and their strong ties to that region, things get really interesting. When you look at UVU campus and their strong ties to the CIA, things start to get really interesting, right? And I think this is a path that needs to be pursued, that these people have different identities and that they are perhaps all from overseas. And it turns out that there have been, the New York Times has reported on Russian Ukrainian spies that are building new lives from themselves with new IDs in America, in Brazil. Essentially what we're talking about are terrorist cells. I believe that. I believe that with the Ukrainian war, okay? And they always hack us emotionally. Oh, we need to have open borders. It allows them to get in people that are perhaps completely insane and deranged, and they are, in fact, raising little militants, and they're executing these programs. And let me tell you, if this is correct, if this is sort of like a neo-Bolshevik militant tribe, then we need to be concerned. And spiritually, I can tell you how I feel spiritually. That feels right to me. I've been pleading with you guys to get your kids out of these schools. I am telling you that something very dark is going on. And I'm going to continue to stress to you that you need to take your children out of school. Homeschool your children. There is something dark that I am perceiving that is happening, not just in public schools, but in private schools as well. Okay. Why our kids had to go. We couldn't get basic answers about somebody that had kind of fallen through the cracks and was posting Polish underground symbols. Her parent was posting Polish underground symbols. And I realized something was wrong. Something was off. I'm showing you this. This is like one headline, and this is translated from Russian, by the way. So the English here isn't perfect, but it is telling about White Lotus sect of all things. For those of you that followed the Becoming Brigitte series and things that we have spoken about this White Lotus idea, it's essentially they're training fighters, and that this has been declassified, and that they have these regional organizations, these all Ukrainian organizations, and that exactly what it sounds like, that they're training fighters, that it's really dangerous. And my suspicion is that this is happening right here in America. It would make sense that there is global communication if they want to take somebody out. And it is also a fact, by the way, that Charlie was on a hit list. I also was on the hit list. Tucker was on the hit list. And actually, I forgot the name of the individual that worked for Alex Jones who got killed, but he was similarly on a Ukrainian hit list. It's something that I think should be explored a little bit further. And like I said, we're going to go deeper on that topic on We'll actually do that tomorrow, and we'll bring in the aspects and show you whether or not, Uncle Mikey could be Mike Mitchell. Could he be the detective? But I'm just seeing these recurring themes of the military. For whatever reason, I'm also seeing a recurring theme of child abuse and a recurring theme of people who appear to have changed their name and that are operating in the shadows, and something is not right. Again, a theory that is now turning into a very strong hunch. More on that tomorrow. First, I want to tell you guys about Goldco, because according to reports, Fed Chair Jerome Powell has just fueled hopes for a rate cut. And of course, the price of gold moved higher. Over the years, we've all seen some tough times. We've had skyrocketing inflation, surging national debt, market volatility, and never-ending wars. Gold is real, it's tangible, and it's held value for thousands of years. Unlike the stock market or currency, gold doesn't vanish when politicians make bad decisions, which, for being honest, it's happening a lot these days. And that's exactly why I've been partnering with the award-winning company Goldco, because they sell precious metals like gold and silver, and they do an amazing job with it. So whether you're worried about inflation, government spending, or you just want peace of mind, Goldco makes it easy. Here's what you can do. You can visit CandaceLikesGold.com, and you'll get a free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you'll learn how you can get up to 10% and free silver. So don't wait for the next crisis. Protect your future today. Call 855-815-GOLD or visit CandaceLikesGold.com. Again, CandaceLikesGold.com. Also telling you guys about Paleo Valley. I love them. Something that my team and I are always craving are healthy beet sticks, specifically the ones from my friends over at Paleo Valley. Paleo Valley makes their meat sticks with 100%.
Man, we don't want to hear this shit. Let's get to the facts.
What can I say, you guys? The world is very clearly changing, and it is changing fast. Okay. 2 years ago, the mere idea that you might share a perspective that Jews are controlling the media, that would be considered anti-Semitic. You would be called a Jew hater. Fast forward to 2025, and Bibi Netanyahu is now hosting an on-camera meeting with American social media influencers to talk about how they are going to shape U.S. opinion. I honestly, with my eyes, I was going, this can't be real. Like, they're not even hiding it anymore, right? It's like, first it was a conspiracy theory. Now it's like, here's what we're going to do. Okay. And what are we going to do? How are we going to beat out all of these independent voices who are winning because they're telling the truth? So Deborah Lee asked Bibi Netanyahu specifically about Charlie Kirks' assassination and the potential loss of evangelical support for the state of Israel because of it, which, by the way, is going to be the consequence of this. It will be the consequence of this because they lied after he died, and it pissed me off. Okay. Take a listen to what Deborah asks.
So something I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And so specifically with Charlie Kirks' assassination, who was a big mentor of mine, who's my first mentor in the space, evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside of the diaspora?
Okay. First off, I don't know why it's always me and Tucker Carlson. Why? Why is it always Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens? Like, can it be anybody else? It's all like, what? We have nothing to do with one another. I've been on his show twice on his independent show. I just love Tucker. I do. I'm a fan. I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like they're starting to think we're the same person. Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens over and over again. But listen to Bibi's response, because prepare yourself. What he is saying is that they are about to launch a psychological war on Americans. Take a listen to what he says.
Christian influencers. Okay. He said, we talked about the woke right. And he said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're amazing. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefield in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one? That's most important. X. X. Exactly. Very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpart? Yes.
Okay, so we're allowed to say Israel controls the media now. Okay, I think that's just on camera. Now, there will be no dispute about this. The fact that you have a foreign leader, it's incredible. You have a foreign leader who is sitting up there saying that he wants his agents, he needs the deal to go through, which, by the way, let's call out Donald Trump right now. Okay, all of the acting. We don't want China. We don't want China to own TikTok, and I'm worried about your data. No, you wanted to hand it over to your Zionist friends. Okay, it was all a mirage. Okay, it was all theater. Donald Trump has sold us out to Israel once again. Okay, so he's saying, I want this deal to go through. And we know who's a part of that deal. It's Larry Ellison, who he's very clear about the fact that he's an agent of Israel. Andreessen Horowitz, the son of David Horowitz, from which all of the connections, PragerU, I can tell you the stories, PragerU, David Horowitz Foundation, and Ben Shapiro, all of them related in their beginnings in Los Angeles. So he's basically saying, we need to take over TikTok because what are they going to do? What they've already done. They're going to censor speech. The reason that they got on board, just like the ADL spokesperson said when he was caught on the mic, was we need to do something about TikTok. And now they're doing the thing, right? They are going to take over TikTok and they're going to ban your speech. It's happening right now. The second that CEO who said she was a proud Zionist, or maybe she wasn't the CEO, but one of the executives there that they installed immediately after, she said she was a proud Zionist and just spent time in Israel. We saw instantly that our content was getting strikes. You can't say anything bad right now about Israel on TikTok. And this is because it's what Bibi Netanyahu has willed, right? They want to censor speech, which was something that Charlie was very worried about. He was very worried about what Israel was doing to come inward on speech. And I have those text messages with him. And yeah, so that's actually happening. We are going to we're going to become subject to a psychological operation. This is what they do. You can see it on X. There's all of these, I call them military bots, and they're just sock puppets who just say wonderful things about Israel all the time. You can see them in my comments. They just post the Israel flag over and over and over again. And that's what they want to subject Americans to. And they think that is going to, in the long run, bring people over to their side. It's the exact opposite, obviously. Okay, it's so dumb to think. It's like, have you even gone through basic parenting 101? You're going to tell these people that they are going to be forced to like and support your country. They're most certainly not going to. Instead, they're going to see you as what you are, which is problematic. You have no business as a foreign leader speaking publicly about how you're planning to take over social media sites in America because opinion against your country has rightfully shifted. Okay, because opinion has rightfully shifted against your country on the basis of your behavior. Right? Like Charlie said, on the basis of your behavior. Okay. You fall into every stereotype. The stereotypes wouldn't exist if you didn't behave this way. That's the reality. You're on camera. You have zero shame in saying this. You could have said anything there, right? Like a person would say, wow, we want to get out the truth. We want to be better people. We want to commit ourselves to not killing hundreds of thousands of children. And I think that people will start to like us again. He's like, no, we just need to crush them. To crush speech by controlling speech in America. And that's what their plan is. Look no further than this random attack that Megyn Kelly is going through, okay? For no reason at all. And I hate to say this, but I was laughing reading Konstantin Kissin's tweets and what they were saying to her because I lived it. I lived what Megyn Kelly's going through. I lived what Charlie was going through, where suddenly you realize people that are pretending to be your friends, they're like, I'm your friend, I care about you, are actually like agents. And that's why I say they're Mr. Smith from The Matrix, and they're real close to ruining your life if you don't do what they want, okay? So for no reason at all, I'll tell you how this transpired. Megyn Kelly tweeted her episode and said, listen to Charlie in his own words about what he was going through. And for whatever reason, Florida Dad, which is one of these Zio bot accounts that constantly tweets in favor of Israel, wrote this to Megyn. We can pull this up. He writes, if you can't separate yourself from Candace Owens, many of us are going to separate ourselves from you. She didn't mention anything about me. He says, we do not have to align with everyone that claims to be of the right when their motives and history are as shady as hers. Megyn Kelly and I have no attachment to the idea that he's demanding that she make a statement against me is insane. She replies, she holds the line. She says, look at this. No, I have no obligation to quote unquote separate myself from anyone. I run my own media company and my own show. That show is where I express my own opinions and I will decide what and what not to opine on. If you need me to condemn Candace or Tucker for their opinions in order to listen to me, then I may not be for you. He's a close friend and she is under enough pressure without gratuitous shots from me. My fight is with the left, not these two. Like, kudos to Megyn Kelly. Like, what? And yes, she is friends with Tucker. They've been friends for a very long time. And yeah, I'm kind of taking a lot of bullets right now. So I thank you, Megyn, for not just taking a gratuitous swipe because I'm breathing over here. But it's not enough. So then they bring the other agent, Constant Kissin, which, by the way, there's going to be a day where I just release everybody's family genealogy. His is astonishing.
Man, this Candace Owens chick can run her down lips. She can freaking talk. God,
is that this is exactly how the left allowed in its own extremists, so we're extremists, to first flourish and then to become the face of the entire movement. If you agree with Candace and Tucker, people will respect that. But to many of us, their behavior is so extreme and so deranged that the idea that it can be simply ignored because your fight is quote unquote with the left doesn't wash. You have always been a great, principled, truth-seeking journalist. So to many of your admirers like me, the question might be, if you agree with
those that's listening in on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram, the call-in number is now available for you guys to call in. You can call in right now, give your opinions, ask any questions, bring any topics to the table. Call in if you're not sure.
I totally agreed with. And then like all the agents, like Dave Rubin, all of them are like, don't you see what you did? And they make it think you're going crazy, but they kind of pretend to be your friend. And you're like, what did I do wrong? Like I just said, genocide is always wrong. I just retweeted Max Blumenthal, and he said it was sensible. And they come in and they're like, I understand what you're doing. I'm your friend. But I worry that other people are going to see what you're doing and not understand. And it just, I want you to be okay because we're just wondering, like, we all agree that that's bad, right? So why don't you just say what I'm telling you to say, Meg, or you're going to get it. We're going to ruin your effing life. That's the subtext, Meg. That is the subtext, Megyn. I can promise you that. I lived it. There's no halfway with these people. I'm telling you, there's no halfway. She didn't do anything. She shared her episode and said, if you want to hear Charlie Kirk in his own words, here it is. That is literally what they are responding to. And now they're going to pretend to be her friend. So she responds to him and she says, the more one insists that I say what one demands me to, the more committed I get in my refusal. This was Charlie. He was like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm digging my heels in because they know what this is. Okay, Megyn is an adult. She's also quite brilliant. She's not going to fall for this, should I call it babble, right? Constant Kissin. And you're sitting here trying to, I love you so much. She's like trying to manipulate a toddler. She's not stupid. And he says, I demand nothing of you. And in coming from a position of great respect, I'm simply asking why it is that you don't believe that lies told by prominent people on the right shouldn't be challenged in the way that we all challenge lies told by people on the left. And she said, your response proves the opposite of what it purports to. She sees right through him. Of course she does, because she's not a child. Okay. This is how the agents work. They pretend to be your friend. And I'm telling you, if she doesn't buck, as they want, we will whip you and you will buck. And you will buck by making a strong statement against Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson when we demand it. Then they will send the next layer, which is a full-blown press attack. The press that they do not control, by the way. They do not control the press. That's anti-Semitic. I want to be very clear. They don't control it, but they will control it when they come after her. If she doesn't do what they say. Watch that space, you guys. Watch that space. Okay, I want to make sure that I get to some of your comments because a lot of you guys have been writing in. First, I want to throw it to Pure Talk because our society works because of the freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. Everyday Americans should be able to speak openly and about honesty, family, traditional values without any retribution. And that's a principle that Pure Talk proudly supports. They sponsor my show, which allows me to stand strong behind the microphone every day and share the truth with you. If you want to support brands that defend freedom and pro-American values, I encourage you to switch your wireless service to Pure Talk. You're going to get great 5G coverage and an extremely reliable and secure network. And with plans from just $25 a month, you'll save a ton of money. Pure Talk believes in creating American jobs and supporting small business. So if you're a small business owner, you can save even more while enjoying white glove service. You can stand with companies who share your values. Go to puretalk.com/Owens to switch to my wireless company, which is Pure Talk. And right now you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, that's puretalk.com/Owens to make the switch today. Also remind you guys about Nimi Skincare because there was a reason that we all love the fall. We love the crisp air. We love the changes, the leaves. But the season of transition can also be tough on your skin. The end of summer sun, the new autumn wind, it can leave your skin looking tired, dry, and dull. So if you're looking in the mirror and you're feeling like your skin has lost its radiance for the season, I need to tell you again about my absolute go-to, which is Nimi Skincare. Nimi is the reason that my skin stays clear, firm, and glowing no matter what the weather brings. Their 3-step anti-aging routine is the perfect defense for this seasonal shift. It's packed with powerful, clinically backed ingredients that work to restore your skin's barrier which is exactly what you need to fight off that dry autumn air. It boosts collagen production to help with those fine lines. It locks in deep moisture and it brightens your complexion, bringing back that healthy glow that you had in the summer. And here's what I love most. Nimi is proudly American made. In a world of skincare dominated by foreign brands, Nimi formulates and produces everything right here in the USA. They deliver world-class quality while staying true to the values that we hold dear, which is faith, family, and freedom. You should not have to compromise your values to get incredible skincare. And with Nimi, you don't have to. So as you prepare for the new season, make sure that your skin is prepared too. Get an exclusive 10% off your order at NimiSkincare.com. You can use code Candace10 at checkout. Support a brand that supports this country and see the results yourself. Again.
Keys on the track, on the track, on the track, on the track, on the track.
For the stats, I be beating the odds. Then the blood and be making me calm. Ride the turbines just like I'm Saddam. I'ma blow up just like I'm a bomb. I'ma leave it.